to wrap up the show, let's do our bold prediction of the week. And this week, our bold question of the week is, who will dethrone Christian McCaffrey as the best fantasy player in football? It's very rare that a player 2 years in a row is the best player in fantasy football. It's happened, but it's pretty rare. Like, it doesn't happen every year. So
yeah, and I'll step in really quick.
Yeah.
It's even rare to say, is rare a word? Oh man,
it might be more rare. I think it's like fun. Rare. It's like
it's even more rare that you see players at the same position repeat year after year. So think about that. Christian McCaffrey's, Michael Thomas's, Lamar Jackson's. It's very rare that those guys repeat this year. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. He did nothing compared to what he did 2 years ago. So just be on the lookout for that. It's highly unlikely that those guys are going to put the same numbers. But the reason why people still draft them at that draft capital
is great, but
because they're still going to receive those same targets, those same shares. It's just a matter of they can produce.
Well, that's true, because even if Christian McCaffrey doesn't do that, he's still going to get the same volume no matter what.
Definitely. All right. So I've been going first a lot. I want to hear yours today.
So look, mine isn't a far fetch. It's not. But I guarantee you, most people would argue with me on this and say, no, that's not going to happen. So to me, it's a bold prediction. And
let's hear it.
No surprise here. I think my dude, Ezekiel Elliott, is going to be the number one player in fantasy this year. Look, he is getting better and better as a catcher every year. His catching numbers, targets, and performance as a catcher are going up every year. I don't know why. It's just like this guy, even when he has a bad game, like, he still gets you 15 points every week. He rarely ever disappoints. Like,
very reliable.
A lot of people, like, he'll get you 15 points for 3 weeks straight, and people will be like, what's wrong with Zeke? And I'm like, nothing. Just take those 15 points. When you have a guy who has a bad game and gets you 15 points, I'll take it. And I just, I love him. I have him in several leagues and as dynasty keeper leagues, 2, but yeah. And I have him in a 6 keeper league, in the pick 6 keeper league, and I have him in a 2 keeper league. And I'm just a big fan of him. And look, I'm a Niners fan, so I have to root for the Cowboys offense when I watch them. But I just think, and he's led the league in rushing several times. But that doesn't mean he leads the league in fantasy points several times. I think this is the year where he leads the league in fantasy points.
Most definitely. That's a good guess. That's a solid guess.
Yeah, it's not like, I'm taking like a top 5 ranked guy and it's not a bold prediction necessarily, but I think a lot of people would try to argue with me on that. So I think it is a bold prediction.
Yeah. Well, I can say, by the way, great choice. I can say without a doubt, this is probably a bold prediction. If you remember our bold prediction from last episode, it was who was going to finish up the season as the overall QB1 on the year. And my choice was Kyler Murray. So my bold prediction for this week of who's going to be the number one overall fantasy option, I am sticking with Kyler Murray.
Wow.
And I got a few reasons why. Last year, he put up 3,700 yards and 20 touchdowns. And on the ground, he put just under 550 yards and another 4 touchdowns. That's great for fantasy. He finished as like the QB 5 or 6 or something like that. It was great. It was great to see a rookie find success like he did. You compare that, right, with the great all-hailing Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's passing yards last year, now people are already going to – I don't want to hear the hate, all right? Lamar Jackson runs too, way more than Kyler Murray. I understand that. But Lamar Miller's passing last year was 5 or I think almost 6,000 yards less. Not 6,000. Not 6,000. Kyler Murray threw for 3,700 yards. Lamar Jackson threw for 3,100 yards, right? So nearly 600 yards less. Thank you. Stat correction. Now you might say, well, Lamar Jackson had 36 touchdowns compared to Kyler Murray's 20. I think Kyler Murray is going to become the ultimate weapon this year for his team. They're going to unleash him. This is the Cardinals' year with that Cliff Kingsbury offense to just let it go. They have the talent around him for him to succeed. They're making moves on the defense. They're making move on the offensive line. Something's brewing in Arizona, and it's all getting hyped behind Kyler Murray. This is just a projection. This is my very first projection. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that Kyler Murray this year puts up 4,300 yards, right? That's only that's only 800 yards more, 40 touchdowns.
Oh my goodness.
Which we saw a couple of people do that, not last year, but we've seen people do it in the past.
I mean, he has Hopkins on his team now.
He has Hopkins on his team. And I see him rushing for 800 yards and 8 TDs, which is 200 yards more and 4 more TDs on the ground.
Like, you're high on Murray, and I'm so mad because I traded him away in our two quarterback dynasty league. I traded him last year, and I'm just always going to regret that. But I think he's going to be great. We've seen this trend of similar type quarterbacks, quarterbacks who can run, who can scramble, and who can also just chuck it. And it's been happening every year. Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray's. That it seems like that's a very possible trajectory, like going towards Kyler Murray. And these guys, it's crazy. So I don't doubt you there. I don't doubt you there.